We're here again, another edition of He Who Has Ears.
Okay, and she like imputing the notes to give our life to Christ. We could have easily said, let's just do it. But at that point in time, I was willing. So that was why I was able to have that experience.
Okay, that's nice. So, Sister Nadia?
I mean, so for me, like it's different now with raising children in this era. So like I said, for me, I came from a Christian home. My mom, attended CNS church and all of that. So but when I actually gave my life to Christ, I think I was about 17. And somebody had invited me. That was the first time I would hear about Pentecost. I knew exactly what I was doing. So, but with what is peculiar to everybody here, the fact that, and that's why I need to, we need to establish this. The fact that, okay, with all of you, you're all raised in a family, in a Christian home, and with favors encounter. So, is it because your parents, pushed you into doing, because you're from a Christian home, obviously you have to go to church. I mean, you have no choice. You have to go to church. Is it because is that why you thought, okay, well, like CK said, well, I mean, I'm from a Christian home, we go to church, so I wasn't there to not choice really. I had to give my life to Christ. That sort of thing, and that's what's happening now. Raising children in this era, because your parents are, and what you find is that by the time these children have a bit of independence, they forget church.
Yeah.
They forget church. They don't like. Sometimes when they were like age 15, like 14, they'd be like, Mommy, please. We've been going to church since, and we don't even understand. We would get to church at 6:30, and we'll be the first to get to church. We'll be the last to leave. So please, let's put it on, church matter. So what I'm trying to say here is that you've all given your life to Christ, that you actually did it. From the sincerity of your heart, you knew what you were doing, not because I'm from a Christian home. If I don't do it, my mommy will be upset. I mean, there's some children here that, their parents are pastors. The parents are pastors. Some the parents are ministers and things like that. So, to be honest, you have nowhere to hide. So, is that why? Because of that pressure? Or because you're actually, from the depth of your heart, you actually, wanted to, you actually gave your life to Christ. You wanted that, you understood this, salvation of your soul, that when you die, you are going to heaven. You don't want to go to hell. And did you actually understand?
In line with your way of thinking, I have two questions now. One, I'm still going to throw back to you and Sister Kemi. A lot of children, right? When you tell them something, or you give them instructions, or you want, the first question they ask is why. You understand? And the honest truth is that a lot of parents basically think that they are being disobedient or unwilling, but the fact is that they are at the age of being inquisitive. I'm not an educationist, so please. So because they are inquisitive and they want to know, they ask why, right? Please, I want you to basically expand on that. I'm going to also ask the children, because they're all born again Christians, they all know God and everything. So, and God can be all things to all people in different ways, right? So I'm going to ask you individually who God is to you. Understand? But I'm going to start with Sister Kemi with the question I asked. Then Sister Lola can weigh in. We exhaust that. Then we'll now look at the second question, which the children can answer for me.
Okay, thank you, sir. Children, teachers, gatherings, and the topic is actually part of what we actually treated on. Like kids ask mostly even their teachers, why? Don't touch this pen, why? Don't sit there, why? So you even get so tired and like, are you, but what I have to say about this is the thing, they have their own mind. Let me put it that way. They have their own mind, and the thing, you can't just always tell us what to do all the time. Yes. And when they ask you why, sometimes you get confused. How do you even answer the question? Why? And looking at children's life, many of them are open to a lot of things in school, church, environment, their neighborhood. So they see the way other children do things, and when they want to do their own things their own way, a parent is questioning them why. They feel like, other children are doing it, why can't I? Why can't I do it? So I should, since I see Bola, she did the same thing. She wasn't questioned. So, mommy, why are you questioning me? But you as a parent, you say that this thing you are doing is totally wrong. But like what I do to my pupils in class, when I scold the child and he or she feels so bad, I'll make sure I make that child understand what he or she did wrong that made me scold her or him, so that this particular child will not just go with my teacher hates me. I had to correct that impression immediately before he or she gets home. I don't know if I'm actually making a point. So I had to correct that.
Yes. So because at that age they get very emotional.
Yes.
And they are not formed yet.
Yes.
So they are still moldable.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So that's what you're trying to say.
Yes.
I'm just trying to talk about that.
Okay. So with what you've said, Sister Kenny, see what's happening now. Right? They punish you. They suffer you. During that time, they suffer you. They make sure, they deprive you of everything. In fact, they can deprive you of life. They make sure you feel our time. You don't even know what you've done, and you've suffered. I remember, when we were growing up, and I'm not sure if it was me or my older sister. My father is very, he's a clean freak, everything has to be in order, and so this day he noticed that, so we had a leather furniture. So he noticed that somebody had used blade to cut the thing. You know, honestly, it could have been anybody. It was a bad thing. I mean, the whole furniture and everything, it could have been anybody. But not having, I can't remember if it was me or my sister. The man beat, I'm not even sure, but maybe he was beaten because the furniture, you know, he brought it from London. That was his first salary. And they had judged my parents, you know, when they got married, so he brought it from, you know, the abroad. Maybe that was what pained him, or the fact, I don't even understand. But okay, so I'm not sure if it was me or my older sister. So he beat us, Sha. And the next truth is, it was not. We didn't do it.
Sorry. Let me just touch
we
on.
didn't even do it.
Let me touch on that thing that you said, because yes, that thing was bad. That was done, and he decided to beat someone for it. Now, this is what comes into my mind, right? What was the essence of that beating? Was it to satisfy his anger? Because at that point in time, there's a lot of rage in him, and beating, you know, the child that did it is like, okay, get me a form of satisfaction. Or was it purely for corrective measures? It was purely for corrective measures. Was that the right way to have done it?
Like I said, honestly, thinking back at it, I just hated him for that. I just hated him for that act. Honestly, because it was not even us, you know. Maybe it was even the house help or something. But he was just full of so much, you know. He just had to take his rage and anger out. So, like I said, we didn't do it, so I don't know what it was correcting anyways. You know, I just feel he was just very upset. In fact, I think he even had anger issues, you know, and that's what parents have anger issues.
That was why I asked
like that,
if it was to satisfy the quench of his anger.
So maybe and that's why children now, when you hit children, they're gonna tell you, Mommy, why did you hit me? If you know, and you know, that's what I've said. Discipline is not about punishing that child. It's about letting that child understand what they've done, and from what they've done, you know, kind of to, you know, bring up, you know, corrective measure. Correct that child. Not to punish them, and you know, and that's why in this era, honestly, you can't. Sister Kem is a teacher. You can't do that. You can't. No matter what that child has done, you can't start beating a child. You can't even beat them.
I'm going to let you continue that line of thought because it's in line with my next question. Okay. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask a question and I'm going to praise. I'm going to let praise start with, you know. So I want you to be honest and I want you to be free. What is God to you? Who is He to you?
Okay, to me, God is my Savior. He's my helper. But it's just, but one thing is that it's not every time you ask for help. Sometimes you can ask for help, not that God will not answer. It takes time before He answers your request. So it's just that God is my Savior, is my helper, is an everlasting Lord. Yes.
Yeah.
So people they call Him God the Father, some call Him God Son, some call Him God Jesus. But just that He's our Savior, He just necessary for us to ask.
So we are looking at God from the point of view as a Savior and a provider. And that is what you see Him as. Okay, cool. Let me jump here. Favor. What is God to you?
I see God as since like the mediator of the whole world, the universe, creator of everything. Like without him, nothing can ever exist. So I see God as a source. I see God as a source.
As a source. Okay. Okay. Do you have anything else to say? So, okay. So you see God as your provider, as your savior. You see God as your source, and you relate with Him in that manner. So, can you give me examples of instances where you've basically related with Him as your source?
Like a very good example. During our school days, sometimes we don't really take enough lunch to school. Or most times we don't even take maybe after eating in the morning, there's nothing to take to school for lunch. So when I saw that, yeah, I'm not that bothered. I'm not that bothered that other flights and I'm not eating, because I know that our God, because He said in everything give thanks. So I'm just have that assurance that even if I'm not able to take lunch to school, that my own kids will not pass through that same way. So that's a very key example of how I see it.
Okay. Alright.
I think to me, God is a father, a friend, and a creator. First, a friend because when I first started, the image of God that was introduced to me was basically this being that he created the whole world and created the whole universe. That's what I saw God as like he was so far away or something. But after, because relating with God was not really easy. Until one day my mom told me that when I'm talking to God, I talk to him like a normal person, like a friend, like okay, you see that, oh maybe why, oh because this is what I ate today, this is what I ate today, and this is what happened to me. If I'm like angry or anything and I can't tell anybody, I always go to meet God, I always go to meet Jesus and everything. So that's from that point in time, that's when my view of God has changed to more of who I could talk to Him, not like just this God somewhere that I just put church on Sunday to pray to. So I would say Father too, because there's sometimes where if I want something and I know that my parents might not necessarily be able to provide it for me at that point in time, my mom just tells me that I always go to God, and when I read the Bible, use His word, and just like, you know what, let me ask for this, and sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't, but nothing to get. So my mom will also remind me that even though he's like your father and friend, you still have to like respect and reverence, because that's one thing I would not do. Like I would not, anytime it's prayer time or stuff, like I'm not really interested in stuff like that. I want to that I know he's like a friend, he's still a consuming fire, and he's still God that should not like take away the whole God factor from me. That even though like, because she said I treat him as a friend and as a father, that I now forget that he's still God and he's the one that gave me my breath and everything. So to me, relating God, if I want to talk to him, like a normal conversation or prayer, I talk like, oh, this is what I ate, this is what I did today, and stuff like that. But sometimes if I'm worshiping or praising, and I'm like, oh yeah, you gave me life, you did this, you're really doing this. I just say God is it.
Aspects in which you see God in. You see Him as a father, you see Him as a friend, and you see Him as a creator. And then you actually so implied one thing that is also is someone that is supposed to be respected, and you need to reverend God all the time, right? But I'm really interested in what wisdom has to say. CK, you be last. Not last, but you know what I mean.
For me, I see God as guiding somebody that's supposed to do things to please. Let me say that I'm in school, teachers in class, friends were talking, and I'm like, this man is not happy the way we are interacting in class, and will God be happy that we are, let me just say, frustrating somebody that older than us? I'll not be like, no, this thing, no. I'll try to call everyone together and say that, guys, let's just listen to Mark. Please, he's here for a limited time. I mean, we have the rest of the day to ourselves. So if they are not ready to listen to me, maybe I'll just shift myself, maybe I'll just change my location, use another place, just listen, make sure what I'm doing won't upset God. So I'll say like someone that's supposed to please at all times. Even if sometimes maybe my flesh get the upper hand and maybe I've done something wrong, and I'll go back and be like, say I'm sorry, I really didn't mean to do this thing. Because I'm human, maybe, so I just have to forgiveness and continue.
Awesome. Great. So, CK.
Well, God is my friend. And I see God as someone that I'm reliable.
The guy.
Someone that I can talk to about things I want to talk to.
Yeah.
I feel God is there. But my mom keeps telling me that he's one of my names anyway. I'm gonna now journey. So over the years I try to be conscious that God is there. I talk to God all the time. I have any other ideas. I'm ready to go sometimes. I'm not necessarily, I'm not going to be that key. Like, it just is me and God. I'm not necessarily into the whole, what's the word? I just want a simple, this is God and my relationship with you. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm not into the whole.
So, what do you see him as in that?
What he's asking, I'm cultivating a relationship with him.
Relationship.
Because that's the, for more,
So,
that's the base.
So, relationship doesn't matter. You're not trying to define the kind of relationship. You just want a professional relationship.
It's just someone, because I said, God is there for me. So it's not like that relationship. I'm not this whole, because in this age that we're born in, we don't really have the concept of servant master. It's not something that I'm just seeing on TV. It's not something that we actually do. Like, we don't have kings, there's no monarchy. It's just, so I feel God, okay, yes, God is we are supposed to be very, yeah, he's the creator of the universe, yes. Because God is supposed to be with us, like, even if we be very manual with that, but I feel God should be that one person that can rely on my safety net. I want to be.
So do you feel like, because you're 18, so do you feel if you have a challenge in your uni, if you have a challenge in uni, you just said now that you're trying to cultivate a relationship, you have a relationship with God, you have a challenge in uni, do you feel that you're able to go to God and tell him about that challenge? Because what happens, because like I said, you guys, you're all brought up in a Christian family and all of that. And the honest truth is, by the time you have that independence, you're not even able to have a relationship with God. You don't even pray. Would you say now, I'm sitting, I'm asking you, would you say that now at this stage, this age, are you able to like get up in the morning and pray?
No, not really.
And if you have a challenge, do you feel
Oh.
that you could, you know,
At first,
you
I don't necessarily know how to go about kneel down.
or you're part of the school where you have a challenge, you've been brought up in a Christian home and that you don't know what to do, or you can't do it because then what if everything you've learned, or what you are now is based on the fact that I was born in church, my father, my mother, they raised us in church, so you can't even pray, you don't even know how to communicate with God. Next thing, you tell your parents, what your da-da-da-da. Of course, as parents, we're constantly praying for our children anyway, but I feel like with my children,